I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. This is Hour 2 of Fire Your MD. Now, let's go to Miami and see what Maria is up to. Hey, Maria, thanks for the phone call. You are live. Maria.
Hi. It's been a long time. I don't see you here in Miami. No, Dr. Glidden, I'm calling because since February, I was training with a trainer, and I started feeling a pain in my left arm, and it was just like by the tricep area, and I would tell him it always hurts me a little bit, but he said, don't worry, and he kept on training. So I finally stopped training, and since March, I started ordering, because I never would take the glucogel, the liquid glucogel, and I've been taking the pills after that. But I went to the doctor, and he says I have a rotator cuff syndrome, and I've had 13 sessions of physical therapy, and it really doesn't seem like it's helping. I cannot lift my arm all the way up, and I cannot put my arm in the back. I mean, I have difficulty dressing, bathing. It's been hellish. I've ordered also the C-Radical, which I usually used to take regularly, but I didn't take it for about 2 months. I take probiotics. I'm taking the glucogel. I ordered now another bottle of the glucogel liquid, taking the CM Plus gels. I ordered them, but I just started 4 days ago and been using the CM cream. Also started using the trauma oil. At night, it's very difficult for me to sleep. I just don't know what else to do.
Is this a right shoulder or left shoulder?
Left.
Left shoulder?
Yes.
Well, this is obviously a rum deficiency. It's a rum deficiency. You need more Cuba Libres. You need more rum. And I think that will fix the problem completely, or at least it will make you oblivious to the pain, one way or the other.
Sometimes it doesn't. If I don't use it, if I don't try to put it up or do something with it, sometimes it really doesn't hurt, which I think it's gotten to another phase. It's gotten to a phase that, and it's frozen. I mean, he measured the range of motion. I could raise my right arm to 160 and this one to 105, straight up.
So what were the circumstances around when it started? Do you remember how that happened?
I don't know. He must have been trained. You know, trainers try to push a little bit more than you can do, and they try to help you finish, your sets. But it wasn't I didn't feel pain when I did weight training or anything. I mean, I used to use a purse that was really, really heavy that my mother said, I cannot believe, I stopped using it, obviously. I cannot believe you would use that purse. I always told you that would mess up your arm. Maybe that was it also. I don't know. But it started just hurting a little bit on, like I said, on my tricep area when I would raise it a little bit, but nothing like it's now. It's obviously gotten progressively worse.
Okay. So, all right. Are you familiar with homeopathy?
Yes.
All right. Have you tried any homeopathy for this?
I just tried not too long ago. For 3 days, I tried arnica.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I want you to try. Okay. Here's what I'd like you to try instead. It's a funny sounding remedy. First, I'll say it, then I'll spell it. It's called a Rus toxicodendron. All right. Okay. Ready to spell it?
Yes.
All right. R like Roger, H like Harry, U, S like Sam. R-H-U-S. A second word, T like Thomas, O, X, I, C like Charlie, O, D like David, E, N like Nancy, D like David, R, O, N like Nancy. Toxico. Dendron, Rus toxicodendron. See if you can get it in the 200C strength, 200C or 200CK. Take 2 pellets orally 3 times a day for 7 days. 2 pellets orally 3 times a day for 7 days. See if it produces a positive response. Now, what's your current body weight?
12.5. I weigh 10. I measure 5'6".
All right. So you should be. Have you eliminated the 10 bad foods?
Yes, I've lost 30 pounds, but for some reason I cannot lose any more after that.
All right. Well, you want to watch the webinar that I did on weight loss, because there's only one thing that makes people not lose weight, and that's too many calories. You're eating too many calories, period.
But sometimes I even eat only once a day. I think I eat too little.
Well, no, that's impossible. There was nobody, Maria, in the death camps of World War II that was overweight.
Why don't you? I swear. Well, remember, I have IBS, good, and also I've been supposedly, quote-unquote, diagnosed with Hashimoto, so I don't know if the thyroid has anything to do.
Well, the thyroid could have a little bit to do with it. Your hormones could have a little bit to do with it. But as an experiment, what I would like you to do for the next 3 days is just write down everything that you eat. Just write it down. Don't change the way that you eat. Just write down everything that you eat. And then at the end of the day, figure out how many calories that was. And you're going to be amazed. It is so easy to sneak in calories. And for weight loss, the calorie restriction is 1,200 calories a day or less, 1,200 calories a day or less. So if you're not losing weight, you're eating more than 1,200 calories a day. It's that simple. So the glucogel dose, in order to support and promote the structure and function of your ligaments and tendons, would be 21 capsules a day, 7 with breakfast, 7 with lunch, 7 with dinner, or 4 ounces of the liquid glucogel a day. It's either 4 ounces of the liquid glucogel or 21 of the capsules, or you can mix and match it. And to do the math there, it's 1 capsule of 1 ounce of the liquid per 50 pounds per day, 1 ounce of the liquid per 50 pounds per day, and 1 capsule per 10 pounds per day. So, you could do 10 capsules a day and 2 ounces of the liquid a day. That would be one way to do it. 10 capsules a day and 2 ounces of the liquid a day. You need 4 scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine as well. 4 scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine as well. Plus, you can't even look at wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And thank God rum is not on the 10 bad food list. But try that homeopathic remedy, okay? Give me a call back in 7 days after you've adjusted the dosages here. And also,
orally 3 times a day for 7 days.
Yeah, and also it would be an interesting experiment, I believe, if you took for 7 days 4 ounces of the calcium a day.
I've been taking more. Okay.
You've been taking more. Are you taking the powder or the liquid?
The liquid.
You've been taking more than 4 ounces of that a day?
I haven't been measuring it, but I get like an 8-ounce cup. Not that I fill it up, but I do like a quart or a little bit more of that than that. So that must, and I do it twice a day. So I think I'm even going beyond.
So are you taking? So you must be going through 2 bottles a month then.
Yeah, and I'm already expecting more because I'm already running out. And I almost I finished the Z Radical as well. I've been taking also about that much of the Z Radical. I've been taking everything to see if this helps.
All right. Well, when you take the osteo, mix it with a little orange juice or a little pineapple juice. Because it will digest easier. And Ed, were you listening to the radio show when I interviewed Dr. Russ Newman about the lymphatic breathing technique?
No.
All right, so go into my radio archives, please. It's free. It's right there on the front page of the website. Scroll down, and you'll be able to do a search for lymphatic breathing. Lymphatic breathing. Pull up that podcast and listen to it. There's a breathing technique that you can do that will facilitate healing of soft tissue. It's called a lymphatic breathing technique. And I think if you added the lymphatic breathing technique 10 minutes twice a day to the program here, it would go a long way towards helping you. I'm excited for you to take the Russ Talks. I think you're going to like how that makes you feel. So give me a shout back in 7 days. Does that sound like a plan?
Thank you so much, and I miss you.
Cuba Libre, Cuba Libre. Thanks, Maria. We always have a lot of fun in Miami. A lot of course, expatriated Cubanos living in Miami. It's a great culture. It's a great community. It's a great group of people. Just nothing but fun and goodwill every time we go down there. I look forward to it every year. I think we might have time. I'm a little messed up on my clock in this segment, but we might have time for one more. Let's go to Virginia and see what James is up to. Hey, James, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Yes, Doctor, this is James Blackman. I've been dealing with y'all for about 4 months, and this eye thing ain't working. I've used up about $95 worth of medicine. I don't know what to say.
Well, James, you're going to have to talk up a little bit, brother, because I'm having a hard time hearing you. But here's the deal, James. Here's the deal. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, but the body has a point of no return. There is a point of no return. There is a point beyond which the body cannot fix itself. I don't know where that point is. Your MD certainly doesn't know where that point is. And if you listen to this radio show long enough, or if you go to longevity events when they happen in your area, you will be a witness to testimonials that will bring you to tears. You wouldn't believe.
What is it? Where's that in Richmond?
All right, so the best place for you to go for an eye issue would be to go here. It's a website called Y, just like that. That's the letter Y. Y Team TEAM Tools TOOLS.com. YTeamTools.com, and order the CD. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. It's a CD filled with testimonials from a medical doctor with eye conditions that resolved with longevity. And that's how we do it, James. I'm sorry it hasn't worked for you. So the only time medical nutrition fails is if you're not taking enough, you haven't been taking it long enough, or you're doing something that's interfering with the program, like you're still eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, fried food, oil in a bottle. Now, if you've cleaned up your diet and you're taking the nutritional supplements appropriate for your body weight, and you still haven't experienced any positive change anywhere in your body after 4 weeks, then something is wrong, because you can't give a plant miracle grow and have nothing happen to it. So people respond to medical nutrition the vast majority of the time. I have no idea what the problem is with the gentleman who just called. I forgot, his name escapes me. But, it is possible that his eye condition had reached the point of no return, because there is a point of no return. But I have to tell you, folks, honest, and this is why I do this radio show, because since I've been working with Dr. Wallach, the things that I've seen people recover from eclipse in stature of anything that I'd previously seen. Dr. Wallach's therapeutics produce more consistent positive change than anything I've ever seen. And I've seen quite a bit in 25 years of clinical experience as a naturopathic doctor with a primary care practice. I've seen a lot. And Dr. Wallach's therapeutics produce more results than anything I've ever seen. Now, this is not a panacea cure-all for every human ailment. It's not. But it is new-fashioned, the science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition for the masses. And, I guess nothing is 100% effective 100% of the time, notwithstanding love, divine will, divine interventions. Those are kind of hard to come by in this yuga. But in any event, this is how we do it. So when you get on board with the program, you want to look to see, number one, how is it affecting you across the board? Mood, energy, appetite, sleep, weight, sex drive, concentration, whatever, right? While you're waiting for the stuff that you took the program for to get better, like, the pain in your left knee, or your blood pressure, or your blood sugars, or whatever. As we're waiting for results, specific and measurable results in our area of concern, in the area of our chief complaint, you want to look to see if you're experiencing positive benefits anywhere else, because if you are, it's only a matter of time until the positive good chickens come home to roost and you get traction. If you haven't experienced anything, Nowhere. There's no change in your energy, no change in your mood, no change in your sleep, no change in anything at all. Within 4 weeks or 2 months of taking the program, then I would advise you to stop it because you're not from planet Earth. Nora from Chicago is up next. Hey, Nora, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thank you for taking my call.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you very much. How can I help?
I'm so excited to finally talk to you.
Oh, well, good.
I'm actually new to this whole, trying to get healthy and better and everything.
Yeah.
Came across it through my wonderful boss who's actually been taking some of the stuff, and we were talking about it. I've been suffering with anxiety for about 5+ years, and it's gotten really bad over the last year and a half. I want to get better, but I'm at the point where I don't drive. I can't be by myself.
Yeah,
I have
get
scary thoughts.
Yeah, I know.
I
It's nuts, right? I know.
I'm actually calling you from work now, and she's here, and she's seen me experience these things, and, bless her heart, because she's so patient with me. I sometimes limit my lunch because it's affecting me, because I'm afraid to have, I live in the what-if moment. And, it always, I end up, whatever, throwing up. I can go on and on with my symptoms and tell you.
Well, listen, it's a horrible ailment to have because, if you had a broken arm, right, you've got a cast and everybody can see it.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yes.
If you have the inhaler, the asthma inhaler in your pocket, everybody can see that. But when you're suffering from anxiety or depression or any other illness which has its center of gravity in the emotional body or the mental body, nobody can see that. Right. And so it's a really difficult situation for a human being to be in. All right. Well, look, I'm glad you've called. I have some interesting questions here I want to ask you. But regretfully, we're coming up against a hard break here in about 30 seconds. Okay. So stick with me. Take some deep breaths, and I'll dial this in for you when we come back. Nora, I'm so happy that you called. Thanks so much. Stick around. I'll be back in just a minute. Coming up, folks, we're going back to Nora in Chicago. We're going to figure it out because that's how we roll. That's us coming over the hill to the rescue. Because that's what we do. And you need to ask yourself the question, well, why does Dr. Glidden have a radio show that's gaining in popularity? Why is longevity growing, breaking records every month if the medical system in the United States is so great? These two things can't be happening at the same time. When you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable must be the truth. The reason that this radio show is growing in popularity, the reason that longevity is growing in leaps and bounds every single solitary month is because conventional MD-directed medical treatments for chronic diseases do not work. And Dr. Wallach has dialed in health recovery, medical nutrition for the masses, which produces remarkable results most of the time. And let me show you how it's done right now with Nora in Chicago. So, all right, Nora, are you still with me?
Yes.
All right, so a couple things just for the listening audience. Number one, you and I have never spoken before, right?
Correct.
And I don't know anything about your health history. I haven't seen any of your charts. I don't even know what you look like, how tall you are, or how much you weigh. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, great. So, how much do you weigh?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that. I'm at 206.
And how tall are you?
I am 5'1".
Okay, so that makes you about, 40 pounds overweight, right?
Yes.
More or less. All right. Now, look, that's not your fault. That's not your fault. It's your medical doctor's fault because it's your medical doctor's job to be in charge of your health. If your MD was doing their job, you would be at your good, normal, healthy body weight, but you're not, and it's not your fault. You're not lazy. You don't have a fat gene. This isn't your wheelhouse. It's not your wheelhouse to know what causes these things. It's your medical professional's wheelhouse. It's their responsibility, and they have let you down, and they've let you down hard. Now, what's your current age, please?
40.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions because from our point of view, There's a saying in diagnostic science, when you hear hoofbeats, you think about horses before you think about zebras or wildebeest or roebucks, right? You want to think about the most common things that cause things before you think about weird things that cause things. The most common cause of chronic anxiety is a simple calcium and magnesium deficiency. Now, as fate would have it, there are a whole bunch of illnesses which are related to calcium deficiencies. And I'm going to poke around the fire here and see if I can't find one or two other illnesses that are related to calcium deficiencies. So this begs the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being shoot me now, how painful are your menstrual cramps?
2 to 3 times a year, they're at about an 8 to a 9.
And do you have any children?
Yes, I have 2.
Okay, so before you had kids, were your menstrual cramps normal? Were they bad, or were they, practically non-existent?
No, they're not bad, not too bad, not as bad as they are now.
Okay, so a couple times, maybe 2-3 times a year now, they're like an 8 out of 10.
Correct.
Okay, the most common cause of menstrual cramps, which are of a pronounced, painful, which are pronounced and painful, is a calcium and magnesium deficiency. How about your teeth? What's the health of your teeth like? How many cavities or root canals have you had?
My teeth are actually pretty good. I think I might have had, in the past 10 years, maybe 3 or 4 cavities.
But no root canals and no false teeth?
No.
Okay. Have you ever dealt with a blood pressure issue?
I have not.
And is it easy or difficult to fall asleep at night?
Super difficult. Even though I can be exhausted. It's so hard. And I feel like I have like restless leg syndrome because I feel like I have to move or something and I can't fall asleep and I can be super tired, but it's so hard for me to fall asleep.
Okay, that makes me the smartest man in the world because restless legs and inability to fall asleep, either of those are 2 separate things. An inability to fall asleep, by the way, is different than an inability to stay asleep. Those are 2 different physiological mechanisms. An inability to fall asleep, even when you're exhausted, is a calcium deficiency, and restless legs at night in bed are a calcium deficiency. So 5 will get you 10, that the roots of your anxiety are related not to a psychological thing, not to like some traumatic event that you need psychological counseling to recover from. And those things do exist, by the way. I'm not downplaying that, but that's probably not at play here for you because remember, we think about hoofbeats before we think about horses, before we think about zebras. So I'm going to put my money on the notion that most of your anxiety is caused by chronic nutrient deficiencies, with the lion's share going towards calcium and magnesium. So here's what I'm going to recommend that you do for 4 weeks as an experiment, and I'm going to bet you 25 cents that within 4 weeks you will experience a noticeable, remarkable, positive change somewhere in your body-mind, either with the restless legs, the sleep, the anxiety and panic, or something. How about heartburn? Are you bothered by heartburn on a regular basis?
Yes, lately I have been.
Well, guess what? That's a calcium deficiency also. So that's the final nail in the diagnostic coffin. Now, if I'm right, this underlines what's wrong with medicine in the United States now, because not seeing a medical chart, not even seeing your body type, not being able to take any visual cues from you as you answer these questions, not really knowing anything about you whatsoever, I've been able in about 5 minutes to drill it down to a very highly probable diagnosis of chronic nutrient deficiencies. And of course, the proof of the pudding is going to be how you feel downstream once you get on board with the program. But if you feel better and you get remarkable positive traction on your illness, that means that the problem that we have with medicine in the United States is that your MD does not know what's best for you. Your MD is completely clueless about everything having to do with medical nutrition. They've thrown the baby out with the bathwater, and quite frankly, the reason that you've suffered as long as you've suffered, Nora, is because your medical doctor has dropped the ball. They've dropped the ball. They've dropped it hard. And, you know, it's a big problem here in the United States. It's a big problem all around the world. But I am putting the cart ahead of the horse. The recommendation for you for 4 weeks as an experiment. Number 1, there are 10 foods you must stop eating. And you can get that list for free on my website, fireyourmdnow.com. Just scroll down the front page so you see the button. fireyourmdnow.com. Look for the link for the 10 bad foods. And I want you to stop eating all of those foods. Just stop eating them completely for 4 weeks, okay? Number 1. Number 2, I'd like you to order these nutritional supplements. Please. Mm-hmm. I'd like you to order 2 canisters of Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. 2 canisters of Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0.
Okay.
I'd like you to order 3 bottles of Beyond Osteo, O-S-T like Thomas, E-O-F-X, Beyond Osteo FX liquid. 3 of those, 3 Beyond Osteo FX liquid, and 1 bottle of EFA, like Edward Francis Albert in the 180 count. Longevity has a number of EFA supplements. I want you to get the EFA that's in the 180 count, okay?
Okay.
I'd like you to take, and that's all I want you to do for the first 4 weeks, I'd like you to take 6 of the EFAs a day, 2 with breakfast, 2 with lunch, 2 with dinner. If you don't eat breakfast, then 3 with lunch and 3 with dinner. I want you to do 6 a day of those.
Okay.
The Beyond OsteoFX is a white liquid calcium. You need to turn that upside down and shake the crap out of it before you take a dose because it's thick like paint. And if you don't invert it and shake it, the last couple doses are going to be all, sloggy. So the recommendation
but I'm getting
there...
the liquid for this, right?
The liquid calcium. And I want you to do 1 ounce in the morning in a couple of ounces of orange juice. And I'd like you to do 1 ounce in the afternoon or the early evening when you get home in a couple of ounces of orange juice. And I want you to do 1 ounce in a couple of ounces of orange juice immediately before bed. And I mean immediately before bed. Drink the stuff down, brush your teeth, get into bed. Just like that. Okay?
Okay.
Not a half an hour before bed or an hour before bed, immediately before bed. 1 ounce and a little bit of orange juice immediately before bed. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine, I'd like you to put 2 scoops into 12 ounces, more or less, 2 scoops in a minimum of 12 ounces of water 3 times a day. 2 scoops in a minimum of 12 ounces of water 3 times a day. And I want you to take at least an hour to drink each solution down. So you make the solution up and take at least an hour to sip from it slowly over the course of an hour. Do that 3 times a day. All right?
Okay.
So that's the Beyond Tangy, the EFAs, and the liquid calcium. And I want you to call me back anytime after day 21. Call me back on this radio show anytime after day 21 and give Longevity Nation a report. And remember, we're nothing but honest here. We don't hyperinflate anything. I don't screen calls. I have no idea who's going to call. I have no idea what they're going to say. And this is one of the reasons that this radio program is gaining legs, because it's honest. We're 100% honest. So even if nothing happens to you, or, if you grow an 11th finger, right, I need to know about it. So call me back in 21 days and give me a report for better or for worse, and we're going to see how you do. But I think you're going to love how you feel.
Fabulous.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Glidden. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and get my stuff ordered and take it, and I will call you back.
I'll look forward to it, Nora. I'm excited for you very much. I appreciate you very much. Oh, and by the way, go Blackhawks.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. How about those Chicago Blackhawks, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, did I see the Calgary, what's their name? What's the name of the hockey team up in Calgary? What is it? The Flames, the Calgary Flames. I didn't see them in the playoffs. What about the Oilers, the Edmonton Oilers? Did I see them? No, I don't think I saw them in the playoffs either. Oh, well, son of a gun. What's a fella to do? What's a fella to do? This is how we do it here. Ladies and gentlemen, healing is easy. Once you know the fundamentals, once you know the stuff to look for, it's relatively easy to know what people need to take just to be able to sleep through the night, for goodness sake. Just to be able to not have restless legs. You know what a pain that is? You have any idea what a pain that is? It's no fun, I'll tell you what. Nothing worse than needing to go to sleep. You're exhausted after a hard day's night. You try to fall asleep and you can't. And why can't you fall asleep? Because your medical doctor's an idiot. That's why. You've been taken for a ride. The pharmaceutical company has led you down a dead-end street. They've dumped you out of the car and they've sped away, leaving you soaked in the rain, bleeding to death. Is you okay with that? Are you okay with that for health care? It ain't health care. It's disease management, and it is killing us slowly. I've had enough. Have you? Longevity is the answer. Chuck in St. Louis is up next. Stick around. Like the fella said, once you've experienced the truth, well, you're in its velvet grasp forever. Medical nutrition works, and it's only a matter of time until everybody in the world is doing it. Get on board now. What are you waiting for? Become a longevity distributor today. Let's go to St. Louis and talk to Chuck. Hey, Chuck, what's up? You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for the call. How can I help?
Well, I'm calling my wife. She's had some problems that are like constant that she's had pretty much her whole life, as far as heavy menstrual cramps and rosacea. And then recently, I guess within the past 6 to 8 months, she has had really bad knee problems from her left knee. And she
That's interesting.
She went to a specialist, and they thought maybe she had a tear, did an MRI, and said that they don't think it's a tear, it's just arthritis, and they wanted to put her on anti-inflammatories forever, I guess.
Yeah, forever. And, so here's what you should have done. Here's what I would have done. Here's what nobody does. So I would have said, look, you told me she needed an MRI, but the MRI showed that it was inconclusive. You should have been able to tell that this was a tear from a simple orthopedic examination. Meanwhile, you charged me for an MRI that was unsuccessful and unnecessary, and it came back with bumpkus. So I want a refund, man. I want you to refund me the amount of money that I'm going to have to pay out of my bank account to take care of your diagnostic stupidity. I want you to refund the money, or I'm taking it. I'm going to take it to the head of the hospital. For goodness sake,
right?
People get jerked around all the time.
She did ask. Yeah, she did ask him. Well, then she said, because I really don't want to take any drugs. I'm not cool with that. So, is there anything health-wise that I can do? And he basically looked at her, shook his head, and said, no, there's nothing that can help you.
Yeah, so this is, if you go to a communist, they're not going to be able to give you any information about voters' rights, right? Because that's not their thing, right? You go to an MD, they're clueless about what you can do to heal your body. They can only help you manage the symptoms. So it's an interesting segue here, because this is, from one point of view, the stuff she's been bothered by is different arms of the same octopus. The bad menstrual cramps, that's a calcium deficiency. Arthritic problem in the knees or anywhere in the body is a calcium deficiency. The rosacea is a vitamin B like B12 deficiency, a B12 deficiency, and it's also related to consistent consumption of food that she has an allergy to. So, how much does she weigh, Chuck? What's her body weight?
Around 200.
Okay, so here's what I would recommend that she do for 4 weeks as an experiment. and to look to see if anything changes. And if anything does change, she needs to maintain the discipline of this program until, she's 100% better. She is going to lose weight on this program even without trying. Her energy is going to get better on this program even without trying. And, I think she's going to really love the way that she feels. So, number one, she has to stop eating the 10 bad foods, and so do you. So do I. Right. So does everybody in the world. Number one, eliminate the 10 bad foods. Number two, the recommendation for her would be two healthy bone and joint packs. 2 healthy bone and joint pack original formulas, and that's it. 2 healthy bone and joint packs. That's all that she needs for the first 4 weeks. And you're familiar with how to take the stuff?
Yeah, actually, we do take, the Tangy Tangerine right now. We've been taking it for a little while.
Well, the Tangy Tangerine is one thing, but there's other stuff that she needs for her bad menstrual cramps and for her joints that just aren't in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, right?
Right.
So, you got to give the car transmission fluid and oil and power steering fluid, right? It's like that.
Yeah.
So when you get these packs, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is going to be part of it, but there's going to be extra stuff too. So the recommendation for her, 2 healthy bone and joint pack original formulas for 4 weeks. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Keep your fingers crossed and give me a call back with a report, Chuck. I will look forward to it. Regretfully, we're out of time, brother. I appreciate the phone call, appreciate the support. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night for Dr. Glidden Insiders and their guests, it's a webinar. Guess what we're talking about? The myth behind the autoimmune disease. You think you have an autoimmune disease? You've got something, but it ain't your body attacking itself. Find out why for insiders and their guests. Check it out on my website, drglidden.com. God willing, see you tomorrow.